Welcome to Zone 3 Car Wash, when the cars get washed better than anyone in the United States. Come to Zone 3. Zone 3. Not used to be Stewart Avenue, now it's Metropolitan Parkway. Come to Zone 3 Car Wash. There where you get your best car wash here.
Okay, and you said you was in Gucci Man video. Which one?
Back at the block.
Bob at the block. All right, we in Zone 3, y'all.
I hit the club and embarrass them niggas. We carry them business who having them issues. I told my daughter don't marry these niggas. Compare to these niggas, you better than niggas. I jump out the lamb and I jump in the wagon. You cannot mention my name without bragging. You know that little nigga roll up and have.
Hey everybody, thank you for checking me out today. This is the review of my CLA 250. It is the AMG version, as you can notice by the front bumper as well as the grille. All CLAs do not come with this grille, and all CLAs do not come with the illuminated star. But this one does. These are TSW sport rims. When you get the AMG, you also get the red Mercedes Benz brake caliper. These mirrors, when you unlock or lock the car, they do display a light, and they are also retractable with just a push if you wanted to do so. There's the sport badge that's on both sides of the car, as you'll see as we continue to go around. Now, I have seen some CLAs, and some reviews I've seen on just regular CLAs. What people were not too fond of was the base design, because I have seen some CLAs like this and they kind of look like older cars, but there's tons of things on the market to make this car look a lot better. Also, another thing to point about the AMG version, you do have 4 exhaust pipes on the back instead of the regular. I want to show you some everyday things that are kind of practical, like the window, the mirrors. Everybody knows that, but there's another feature on this car. If I am to just hold this unlock button, the windows retract, and if I continue to hold it, I must press it again for the roof. But the roof will eventually come up too, as you see here, just holding the button. And it fully retracts without me or anybody being in the car. Pretty dope. Another feature of this car that's pretty tight, as long as I have my keys, which are in my pocket, as long as I have my keys, I can just walk up to the car, tap that. Car locks itself. If I just come around and just place my hand, car's unlocked. So again, if I just, you see the light for lock, and if I just put my hand here, car's unlocked, and now I can just pull the door. So that is the keyless entry go. But when you open the car, Mercedes has a really nice red and black concept going here. Just a couple things to point out. This is not technically leather. Mercedes classifies this as MB-Tex, which is their version of leather. Another thing to note, if you're looking at an AMG version in particular, is that this seat here, on base models on the CLA, this can actually retract and come out. So if you need to, if you want a better sitting angle and position, those seats offer that. These are just one pieces. You also have the red and black trim going along the door. And on this version as well, you can also buy the lights from Amazon if you wanted. They come out of the bottom of the door and say Mercedes Benz on the ground. So now once I get into the car, I have my controls here for the seat, handle. This is what it looks like. Mercedes did a pretty nice job and wanted to definitely give you more of a sporty concept with the studded gas pedals. In this car as well, what comes stock on the car is going to be a Mercedes Benz just regular floor mat. I didn't like that too much, so I went with this, of course. Same thing on this side, they'll give you multiple. So same thing there. That comes out of the factory. The only thing that I added was the floor mats, the steering wheel, and these two red things on these back seats. And we'll get to the back seat later. Got some pretty cool features there. But you know, here you have typical dash, driver and passenger have heated seats. This button here, this cycles you through economy mode, sports mode, and then manual, because you do have paddle shifters here and there if you need to, you know, shift. Is the start stop button. If I would like, I can just put that there, pop it off. Now if I wanted, I can insert the key and start the car that way. Now we'll jump into this dash a little more here, because I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering about that. So we have a back arrow on the steering wheel, but we also have a back arrow here and a star. So the back arrow would get me out of what I'm currently in. So I'm in radio, and I'm pretty much focused in on radio. If I hit back though, I get much more of a view. So something to point out is everything that you see here on the top is pretty much right here. So if I hit radio, it just takes me to my radio settings. If I hit media, it takes me to a Bluetooth device. If I hit navigation, it takes me there. Telephone, takes me there. I can get on the internet if I had that service. That's an upgraded fee as well. I can control my calls from here. But everything that I'm doing there, I can use this guy for. So I can quickly go through those now. I can hit back and quickly go here, and I can quickly get into media. I can quickly get out of it, go to radio. Get to my navigation, and I can also get to more options now in it. So this is a really sophisticated. It's not the biggest screen, but it definitely gets the job done. And one thing that I think Mercedes was trying to do with this concept, where they was trying to put the focus on driving. So for time's sake, I will not go through every option, but if you're gonna get this car, you wanna hit this star. The star pretty much pulls up settings. Like if we were on an iPhone, this would pretty much pull up more in-depth settings. So, vehicle. I can go in here, change things around like locator lighting. And what I like about it is if you have no idea what locator lighting is, Mercedes literally lights up what you're trying to change. I mean, interior lighting display, switch off. There's no image for that, kind of intuitive. Exterior lighting lets me know, again, what I'm going to be talking about with the lights coming out. Ambient lighting, that's going to illuminate the car, and it shows me exactly what I'm changing. So now, if I wanted, I can check the consumption. I mean, there's tons of things you can do here. So something else I like about Mercedes is the safety feature they have. If your driver door opens, car automatically goes to park. Brake is applied automatically. To take the parking brake off, that is here. And now I'm good to go. Also, something to note with the back camera. If I use this, I can click here and choose that. But I can click this option, which lets me see what's coming on the left, what's coming on the right, and what's directly behind me. So this is good in the case that someone would want to maybe back out of a busy mall parking lot. You always have people walking, so this is a way just to see what's coming on your left and right. And something else, if it's pretty dark, you can hit this and you can actually adjust the lighting. So I know you see the difference here. But when I'm in sport mode, I'm gonna try to put it outside the car so you guys can hear this too. Back up. I'm gonna try to let you guys see this one more time. So on this car, that was the tires that screeched, and I still don't think you guys heard the turbocharger. But if you are to get one of these cars, the turbocharger changes this car's driving immensely. This is good this here. I filled up last night. I was at a quarter tank and it took me 36 bucks to fill up to full, 36 on the dot. And I'm in Atlanta, so gas usually ranges from about $3.15 to $3.40 for 93. I've never put $50 in this car once. Have not had to do that. Okay, so I'll definitely get you guys a better view of this at nighttime. But this star does light up. This here, you really can't see it too good, but that's a strip of light. And at nighttime, I mean, this car is hands down beast mode. The car's extremely quiet. There's no rumbling.
Keep a whole lot of hunters. Keep a whole lot of guns. Slaughter gang, 5-5 crew, nigga, pull a spraying out of rentals. Young savage, real street, nigga, and you know a nigga wreck that murder. And I'm solid as a motherfucker, young shell, nigga, no turtle. Whole lot of hunters, they blue. Whole lot of sticks and they new. Nigga, what you gonna do when we got them choppers pointed at you? Pull up, nigga, send some shots at your boo. Baby mama with you.
And also something that I would like to point out is that I'm 22 and I have this car. So for any of my people out there who might be young or younger, who have always heard their whole life that you have to have such and like, you pretty much got to be a big baller to have one of these cars. That is not the case by far. As long as you have some business about yourself, you can definitely go to most dealers, used or the Mercedes, well, not Mercedes as so much because Mercedes, but if you're looking for one of these cars, you can definitely go to a used dealer. And if you know how to talk, I mean, I got this car knocked off $5 grand when I bought it from the dealer. And again, I'm 22 and I'm still in college, and I got I use my credit. Like, this is not something that my mom co-signed for me. This is not anything like that. I went in there just as a regular person, ran my credit, put a down payment down, and I'm on a pretty long term too. So that means 6 years. So that's another reason why I could probably afford it right now. But the point of the matter is, if someone wants this car, and I don't mind the 6 years because I didn't buy the car to keep it for a year or two. But the point is that, one, you don't have to fall into the stigma that, or the concept that, oh, you have to have such and such to own a Mercedes. As long as you have a reasonable job and you can save up some money for rainy days, you'll be good. When I say rainy days, I'm talking about maintenance. So, how long ago? That was 2 months ago. So probably in September, my brakes, they started to braking was just awful. Felt like the car was gonna break down, and it was squealing too. So I'm like, I can't have a Mercedes and come pull up with squealing brakes. So I went into Mercedes and pretty much my rotors were gone, rotors were shot, and brake pads were fully gone. I was metal to metal. So to get new front brakes and rotors on both, the entire front of the car for the driver's, the entire front of the car, that came out to about $891 pre-tax and $923 after tax. But, and trust me, I've never had to really spend that much money on many things. So to do that on a car, and to do that where I had no choice but to pay it because I couldn't drive the car if it's gonna be metal to metal. Pretty much I had to pay it. 22 years old, in college, had to pay that out of my own pocket. Most people would be like, I'm crazy. But from driving this car, from the experience that I get on a daily, from how different the car is than driving around, and I think my Camaro is nice. When I see 50 other Camaros in a day. Having this car, I would spend another $1,000 if my back brakes went out and not complain about maintenance, because when you buy Mercedes, you're really buying an experience. And that's something that I'm beginning to learn, because start to stop is a really good feature, but it's not a good feature if you're in a position like this. If my car is to turn off now while I'm here, which I think it might do it did. Let's say I'm trying to beat this car. I can't just automatically go. I have to wait till that engine cranks back on before the car's wheels will start moving. So I just want to point that out for people too. So to be honest with you, I don't even use my start to stop, automatic start stop as often. But you know, this is a review, so I want you guys to see how it works. To me, when you're in sport mode, this feels like you just have that power right there waiting on you anytime you're ready. Hitting curves, hitting corners with this is, I mean, tremendous. There's no rumbling, you get a very quiet ride. But again, what I mean by the power is just there. I'm just good to go. Like, literally, I'm just good to go. This is pretty cool too, because I can, if you guys haven't been to Atlanta, this is this is the old Georgia Dome coming up on our left. Old Georgia Dome. Wait, there we go. Old Georgia Dome. This will be imploded Monday at 7:30. Old Georgia Dome. And then you have your new Mercedes Benz Stadium. Get ready for implosion. But the stadium looks great at night. It actually highlights red. It changes between red, green, and blue. So, just so we can check out some of the specs and price-wise too. This is a breakdown of the car. You can pause this if you want to, you know, check it out from start to bottom. And on the next side, we shall see it starts at 31, but with everything that comes with this one, comes out to about 45 grand. Okay, everybody, I want to show you what your gauge can do. So, one, the gauge is controlled by your arrow keys here, which I can show you on the steering wheel. So these are the keys that I'm going to be working. So the first keys I'm going to be doing is the up and down arrows, and we shall see what that cycles us through. So we have miles per hour, which is my basic setting. We have our stats from when I reset it. So this was after I got my oil change. Let you know how long I've been driving, my average miles per gallon, how many miles I traveled, and my average speed, which is the 21 miles per hour. This is from start. So I traveled 18 miles since I started my drive home from work. This is the eco display. It just lets you know pretty much where you're at with fuel economy wise. How much you're using and how much of your trip is used by, you know, coasting or pressing on the gas or the constant speed. This is I actually just filled up too. So this range, from what I've seen, it generally goes from about anywhere from 400 to 490. The most I've ever seen it say was 493, which not too accurate. This one 408. This is probably a little bit more accurate. I showed you guys the miles per gallon that you get on city and highway, and it's pretty accurate when it comes to this tank. You definitely get about 350 to 400, but sometimes it will shoot up and say you got 493, but I mean, that's just not accurate. This is how many miles on top is how many miles from my last oil change, and on the bottom is how many miles my car has overall. So now the next keys I'm going to show you is this right and this left key and what those do. The right and the left bring up some more advanced options for you. So first, if we do it, it gives us a trip. Trip is what we're currently in because all these here let us know about the trip of driving. The next thing is nav. So the nav will just let us know where we're headed. If I'm in nav, once I hit my OK button, once I hit that, it actually puts me in nav. So this is my setting for now. This is very simple and intuitive. All you're going to do is just have where you're headed. And if you put directions on it, we'll tell you directions. But I never use my maps too often. This is for if I had a Bluetooth device connected. With that display, what would that... This is this is audio. So what this would do... Here, I'm going to change the radio so you guys can see. Right now, I usually use my phone and it's set on that. That's what that says. But when I come down here, hit radio... That changes, and now this changes. I'm going to turn the volume up, and I'm going to be able to switch the radio from just pressing my up key. Note why you have the arrows up and down. So as you see, the audio portion is for whatever device you have connected or just for the radio. Next is telephone. If I would have had my phone connected, it would have said Verizon, would have showed me my bars, and I would have been able to take calls. And if someone called me, their name would pop up here. So, you know, this is a very nice heads-up display. I think they have all these options because they don't have the display. They don't have the heads-up display on the window. But, you know, this is definitely a good option. Drive assist. Assistance graphic. Now, when you get to these parts, most of these are things that you may have to pay a little extra for. So when I go into assistance graphic, the lines on the left and the right side, if I had this feature, they would be green when I'm in my correct lane, or it would turn red if an obstruction was about to happen. That arrow, this down arrow, all that means is that I can press down on my pad on my wheel, and now I get more options. So what this says 16 hours ago, says suspended attention level. So now if I want it, I can press OK or go back up, and those are pretty much the two for that. But if I go back, we have ESP, which is just your powertrain system management. You have collision prevention assist, which what that does, if I was to drive really fast, and well, if I even was to coast to that car, what would happen is a beep would come out and it would display two beeps, beep beep, real out on the car. So just, you know, if I'm maybe texting or not looking at the road or just whatever, this lets me know, hey, something's in front of you. You need to make an adjustment before you crash. And attention assist, same thing. Is it sensitive? What the attention assist means is just when you have one of these options on, the sensitive setting means so let's say maybe the base is 30 yards. It will alert me 30 yards before I hit something. If it's on sensitive mode, instead of just being the base 30, it would probably come out and it would be about maybe 35, 40 yards. It'll just be more enhanced. This is in service. I just get my messages, my tire pressure. This is the only place where you can see your tire pressure. And Assist Plus, that just lets you know what service needs to be done next.
I'm blue face, bitch. I'm
blue faces, bitch. I'm 100, so I keep blue faces, bitch. Who is you? I don't fuck with new faces, bitch. You a snitch, and I don't need no cases, bitch. You can't even hit my blood, so I'ma face this shit. My cousin G-Bone, he don't play that shit. Over him, I'm really tripping, I'll spray that shit. Broke bitch, no, I can't say that bitch. If I had 100 bands, I wouldn't pay that bitch. I love money, I'ma tell you why I say that shit. Cause when you dead fucking broke, you gon' hate that shit. How you owe a nigga money and can't pay that shit? Now you ain't got no